Sorry, but I have to say this. The unspoken truth Jungkook revealed to Taehyung that left Jimin in tears. No one expected a single sentence from Jungkook to silence an entire studio. Why did it happen? And what did it reveal about BTS that fans never knew? At approximately 3:18 p.m. local time in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, an incident unfolded that left witnesses frozen and emotional waves rippling through millions globally. Without any official schedule announced, 3 members of BTS, Jungkook, Taehyung, and Jimin, were seen entering the same recording studio, originally reserved solely for Jungkook's solo production sessions. But within an hour, the situation escalated into something no one could have anticipated. What exactly was spoken that brought Jimin to tears in front of stunned production staff? An internal source close to the studio revealed this was not a casual visit. There was an atmosphere of tension even before Taehyung arrived. Witnesses described Jungkook appearing visibly agitated, pacing back and forth with headphones around his neck, his hands gripping his phone as if contemplating a final decision. When Taehyung entered unannounced, silence enveloped the studio floor, while Jimin arrived moments later, attempting to greet them cheerfully, but immediately sensing the gravity of the situation. Then it happened. Jungkook stood upright, faced Taehyung directly, and uttered the words that have since sparked global speculation. Sorry, but I have to say this. Why did Taehyung remain silent in response? Why did Jimin cover his face and sob uncontrollably moments later? From eyewitness accounts and security footage reviewed by production staff, the room froze as soon as Jungkook spoke. Taehyung's shoulders stiffened, his gaze locked forward with no reaction, while Jimin turned away to the corner, wiping tears with his sleeves. Even a crew member was seen exiting with trembling hands, as recorded by external CCTV. What was behind these words? Was it a personal confession, a confrontation, or an irreversible statement that might change BTS's internal dynamics forever? There has been no official explanation regarding the nature of Jungkook's words, but the emotional damage was clear. A production assistant described, when Jimin left, his eyes were red and swollen. He didn't say anything. He just kept his head down and walked straight into the car. Footage captured by fans outside the studio showed Jimin wearing a black hoodie, briskly walking towards a black SUV, visibly shaking, with Taehyung following at a slower pace. His expression was blank, nodding only once towards the staff. Jungkook was the last to leave. Unlike his usual energetic demeanor, he kept his head bowed, avoiding all eye contact before getting into a different vehicle. 3 vehicles. 3 directions. No words exchanged. No reconciliation. No visible comfort. Only the haunting memory of a single phrase. Sorry, but I have to say this. Speculation erupted instantly across global fan communities. Was this phrase an admission of long-hidden feelings? A revelation of truth regarding personal tensions? Or a severing of an unspoken bond that fans have cherished for years? For ARMY, the trio of Jungkook, Taehyung, and Jimin represent the emotional pillars of BTS, whose unity has withstood pressure from the global entertainment industry. Many have theorized this statement was an apology for past conflicts, while others suspect it was a deeper admission, a confession long withheld due to fear of consequences. Several industry observers point out that this incident might be connected to persistent rumors since late 2023, involving personal misunderstandings and emotional distance that had never been publicly addressed. What made this event even more critical was its timing. All BTS members are currently focusing on solo projects and private activities during their group hiatus. The sudden appearance of these 3 at a location unconnected to any official schedule triggered waves of curiosity and worry. Why now, and why in such a sudden, tense manner? A behavioral psychologist from Seoul National University, Dr. Ha Min-jun, shared his analysis. When a public figure delivers an emotionally intense statement in private, and that statement leaks to the public, the psychological impact is amplified exponentially, both for those directly involved and for the millions who have developed parasocial emotional bonds with them. Indeed, Within 12 hours of the incident, social media saw over 2 million downloads and reposts of related footage, each accompanied by messages of worry, heartbreak, and speculation. International entertainment outlet Dispatch released a speculative article titled "A Shocking Confession Between Two Senior Korean Group Members in Los Angeles," sparking further assumptions pointing towards BTS, despite no direct mention of names. The article stated, "One of Korea's most influential idols finally made a long-awaited decision towards his closest friend, leaving another member in tears. Is this merely a fleeting emotional outburst or the unveiling of a deeper truth long buried under public personas and group harmony?" Observers noted that Jungkook canceled a scheduled interview with a prominent American producer 2 days after the incident, while Jimin reportedly returned to Korea earlier than planned. Taehyung remained in Los Angeles, declining all media requests and keeping a low profile. What could force Jungkook to break his silence in such an irreversible way? Fans recalled an earlier incident in 2018 during the Burn the Stage documentary, where Jungkook and Jimin had a heated argument that ended in tears and a hug of reconciliation. But this time, there was no hug, no comfort, no closure. The phrase, "sorry, but I have to say this," will not be easily forgotten, neither by those who witnessed it firsthand nor by millions of ARMY worldwide, who can only guess what truth was finally spoken in that quiet studio room in West Hollywood. Could it be an admission that redefines their relationship forever? Or a farewell to a closeness that once symbolized the internal unity of BTS? For now, silence remains their only response, deepening the mystery of this irreversible moment. One thing is certain. The world will continue asking, what exactly did Jungkook say that day, and why did it make Jimin cry? Sorry, but I have to say this, Jungkook's words to Taehyung that left Jimin in tears. No one expected a single sentence from Jungkook to silence an entire studio and leave Jimin in tears. What did he say that shook them so deeply? On a quiet afternoon in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, 3 BTS members, Jungkook, Taehyung, and Jimin, met in a recording studio originally booked for Jungkook's solo project. According to internal sources, the sudden arrival of Taehyung, who was not scheduled to be there, instantly created an atmosphere of tension. Witnesses described Jungkook appearing restless and anxious, repeatedly checking his phone and pacing around the studio floor as if preparing for an irreversible moment. When Taehyung entered, the room fell silent. Moments later, Jimin arrived, attempting to lighten the mood, but the gravity was unmistakable. Then Jungkook stood still, turned directly to Taehyung, and uttered the words that have since sparked widespread speculation. "Sorry, but I have to say this." The impact was immediate. Taehyung froze, his face expressionless, while Jimin quietly turned away and began to cry, covering his face with both hands. A crew member was reportedly seen leaving the room with a worried look, while others remained in stunned silence. What could Jungkook have said to cause such a reaction? Was it an admission of hidden feelings, an apology for unresolved tensions, or a truth about their bond that could change everything? Until now, neither HYB nor the members themselves have explained the context behind these words. Footage from fans outside showed Jimin leaving the building wearing a black hoodie, his head bowed, eyes visibly swollen. He walked quickly to a waiting vehicle without speaking to anyone. Behind him, Taehyung followed with heavy steps, his expression blank as he briefly nodded to staff. Jungkook left last, keeping his gaze down and entering a separate car without acknowledging anyone.